Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Daily Creative Challenge for Adobe Illustrator. Hi, hello, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world. My name is Andrew Hochradel. I am your host and guide for these challenges, and currently we are learning the basics of Adobe Illustrator. We are going through and learning baseline tools, and today's a good one. It is going to be the pencil and the pen tools, drawing tools. A little bit of a learning curve here today, but I have a lot of resources and a lot of help to help you out. Also, just a side note, if you're watching the creative replays in a couple weeks, hello, I hope you're enjoying the Adobe Live Holiday Special. If you're here live, there's a holiday special coming. So let's go ahead and hop in. There's a couple ways that you can get involved. The first is right here. You can get involved at behance.net/challenge/illustrator. That's where we have all of the source files for you and everything that you need to be successful. Today is the most important source file that there is. We are creating with drawing tools, and I've created an awesome sheet for you to learn the pen tool very easily. So you want to go here, you want to download this template and use it to be able to work with us today. All right. And yes, thank you. Wade has dropped the link in there. Make sure you join the Discord right there, bit.ly/AI Discord. It's a great place. That's where everyone is hanging out. It's where all the cool people are. You can post your work over in the challenge tab, but right now we're doing something very special for this stream. We are going to be in the Hangout and Feedback channel. If you scroll all the way down right here, Hangout and Feedback. And what we're doing in there is we are going to be answering your questions live on air for the last 10 minutes of this stream. So go join that Hangout and Feedback. If you have a question about the pen tool or the pencil tool or any challenge we've done in the past, write down that question, get ready, and when we're ready, you can raise your hand in that channel and we'll bring you live on the show to do some feedback and to give you some advice on your work. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and jump into Adobe Illustrator and learn about how to use the drawing tools. The ones that we're covering today are the pencil tool and the pen tool. Now, there are a whole bunch of other tools to use, but today we're covering those. Here we are in Adobe Illustrator, and let's read our challenge for the day. Learn the basics of using the drawing tools, including how to use the pen and pencil tools and how to edit paths. So we're going to start with the pencil tool. Pencil tool is the easiest one because it literally is just drawing. So what we're going to do is we are going to grab the pencil tool. It is actually hiding right underneath the shaper tool. So if you're selected right here, the shaper tool right underneath the rectangle tool, you're going to click and hold, and then you have the pencil tool. With the pencil tool, you can very easily draw over things by just clicking on that pencil tool, and we're going to click and drag just like we were drawing with a pencil. So we're going to click and drag and try to follow this blue line. Now, the pencil tool is very precise. Initially, the settings are set to be very precise to what you're drawing. So when we click there, you can see it is pure insanity of anchor points. There are so many anchor points here, and we don't want that. That's a little bit too much for me. What we can do is we can actually change the settings of the pencil tool. So we're going to click on the pencil tool right here, and we are just going to hit enter. And it brings up a dialog box. Most tools have a dialog box that comes up with different options if you hit enter. It's a really easy way to find some secret features that are a little bit hidden away, but every tool that you get, hit enter and see what happens. Here we can change the fidelity of the pencil tool, and this is going to go from accurate to smooth. Now what you just saw, it is all the way on accurate, and when we drew it had a million anchor points. What we're going to do is we're actually going to move it all the way over to smooth just so you can see the difference. So I'm going to hit OK. And when we click and drag, you can see when we're done with this, we're going to try to get that path as best as possible using a mouse. You can see that it's smoothing that out, and we have way less anchor points, and it's looking a little bit better overall. So if you want to, you can draw with a pencil tool and smooth it out all the way to get some really nice lines. Something else you can do with the pencil tool, let's go back into that setting right here and then hit enter. We can turn on close paths when ends are 15 pixels, 10 pixels. You can set this to whatever you want. And what that's going to do is when we draw with the pencil tool, so let's try to do this star here. When we draw with the pencil tool, we're going to trace over it. It's going to be a little bit wonky, but we're going to get close. There we go. When it is close, you can see that that little circle appears, right? You can see a little circle on our cursor, and when we let go, it is going to close this so it is a path. So it's a little bit wonky. We got close, but it is indeed a whole shape instead of just a stroke. So if you don't close it and you don't get close to where you started, then it will turn into a line. If you close it out, it will turn into a shape. So pencil tool, great tool, easy tool. We can use it to draw and kind of keep things loose and yeah, but easy. Now, the pencil tool. The pen tool. Here's how I like to think about the pen tool. It's like riding a roller coaster, okay? So as you use the pen tool, we're saying that we are starting and stopping at certain points. Let's use this top line right here. And again, we're gonna use the roller coaster as a metaphor of how we are using the pen tool. You can click over here and grab the pen tool right underneath the magic wand tool. And with the pen tool, we're basically saying where we start and stop, right? Where is the station that our roller coaster is taking off from, and where is the end of that roller coaster? And so we are going to click on our start right there, and then we're going to drag all the way over and put where we end. So we're going to click, and boom, now we have the end. I'm going to put a red stroke on this just so we can see it a little bit better. So there we go. We have our line. It is over there. Let's increase that stroke a little bit. And we've used our pen tool to start at one point and stop at the next point. That's all it is. Super easy. Now, with a roller coaster, you don't just start and stop, you also have momentum, right? A roller coaster, you have momentum. You are going in a direction, which is usually forward, and with that momentum, you can go up and down, right? So we have to have something that tells us how far out we're going with how much momentum and then where the next point is. So let's grab the pen tool and I'm going to show you what I mean here. We are going to click and we are going to hold. And again, we're telling the roller coaster, you're taking off at this speed with this much momentum. So we're going to click and hold. And as we drag to the right, it's saying with that little node, it's basically saying, hey, roller coaster, here's the speed and momentum that we are going at. So pen tool, we're going to click and drag and we're saying, okay, we're launching from here and we're going to get a lot of energy going to the right. We're going to drag it all the way out to this guide right here. And that's saying we'll have this much speed going forward. Now, not only are we going forward, we're also traveling down to another point. So we're going to the point where we are stopping next, and we're going to click and hold again. Now, it's not stopping here. The roller coaster momentum is going to continue to the next point. So we're going to click and hold, and then we're going to drag out to the side saying, okay, the next point we want to hit is this point, but we want our momentum to continue to the right, right? So we're just clicking and dragging with that momentum. Now, again, we want to keep that momentum continuing the same amount of speed, but to a new area. We're going to hit this point as the top of the hill and then bring it over. So we're basically doing the highest and lowest points of our roller coaster and saying how much momentum or how much speed it is continuing with. So we're coming over here and again, just continuing that through. And then this one, we're going to bring out and stop right there. So you can see we have traced perfectly with the pen tool, looking good. Now, not only is our roller coaster going to go left to right, it also needs to be able to go up to down, right? Using the pen tool, if you're drawing an organic shape, you need to remember that it's all about momentum. It's all about where you are pushing and where you're telling those anchor points to go. So we're going to jump in here, grab the pen tool, and again, we are starting right here. We're starting, this is our station, and instead of going to the right, now our roller coaster is going to have energy that shoots us straight up. So we're going to have straight up energy going all the way up with that power. And we're going to say, okay, that's enough power as we click and drag out. Now we want it to land over on the other side. So this is the point we want it to land on, right? Which is the next, the most rightmost. So you're either working with the topmost, the bottommost, or the leftmost and rightmost points. And from there, we can click and drag to say, hey, we're going to hit this point. The momentum is going to continue downward, right? Just like a roller coaster, we're continuing that momentum downward. And then going into our next loop, we are continuing that momentum upward. So you can practice creating these awesome little S curves by thinking about that roller coaster launching. Now, here's where it gets tricky, is the momentum can head in different directions. So it's not just up and down, left and right. It can also head in different directions. So we're going to grab the pen tool using P or clicking the pen tool here. And we are starting at this point, right? This is our station, but instead of launching straight up or straight to the right with our momentum, we're going to launch to the side, right? And think of this as playing tetherball, right? You're hitting, I don't know if people play tetherball anymore, but there is a central point and you're hitting that ball. And instead of hitting it forward or upward, you're hitting it at an angle, and it's going to continue at that angle and then loop around to that next point. So we're going to click and drag out, and this time we're going to hold Shift. And holding Shift is going to keep it at a 45-degree angle. So we're saying that we're starting at this point, and then we're pushing out with this much energy at a 45-degree angle, right? So we're launching it at a 45-degree angle, but we don't want it to continue that way. We want it to land at this next point. And we want to continue that energy, but now we're going the opposite way. So we're going to click and drag, and you can see that it's finding that exact loop, right? It is here, and it is pushing out to the left with that energy, and then going to the next point and continuing with that right energy. You can actually get a preview of where it's going to go. And think of this as if there's no more energy left, right? That it has this perpetual energy coming down, and we just say we want it to end here. This is how that path looks. And think about where these are pointing, right? We have a anchor point going here up to the left. So the energy is going here and telling it we want you to hit this next point and then come down and then release all of that energy to this last point. So again, it's all about thinking about it through energy. Now, instead of just making lines, you also can make shapes with the pen tool. So come over to the pen tool again, grab it. And from here, we're just going to use clicks. We don't have to hit anything special. We're not clicking and dragging. We're just clicking to lay down anchor points. And instead of making a path, we're going to turn it into a shape. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make this into a fill instead of a stroke. So we'll click these little arrows to make it a fill. Now using the pen tool, we are going to click and just follow this guide. Now, if you don't have the anchor points popping up with the purple, you can go up to View and then turn on Smart Guides right here. And it will lock into this template. The template is locked. You can't mess with it. So it will lock into the template so that you can work and practice your pen tool skills. Now, let's say that we're working on the pen tool and then I come over here and select another line. I never finished my shape. I need to go back and finish this shape. What we can do is grab the pen tool and just hover over wherever we want to start again. So we can click right here and you can see that there is a little slash. And what that slash means next to our cursor is that we are starting at that point and continuing from that point. So we're going to click on that slash and then just continue to follow this template all the way around to make a gorgeous little star. So we'll continue that there. Also, as I do this, remember, join the Discord. We're going to be hopping over into the Discord in about 2 or 3 minutes with your questions. And you can have questions live about the pen tool, the pencil tool. Raise your hand and we'll bring you on live to the show to answer some questions. Now, I can't see where I'm going, so maybe I misclick. And with this, man, I have a really weird point here, but I'm going to hover over the top point where I started and it will create a circle. That means that it's going to change this path into a shape using the pen tool. So I click and now I have a circle, looks great, but I have this weird anchor point. Yesterday, we learned about editing anchor points with type, so we can go ahead and click right here on the direct selection tool or just hit A, and we can grab this point and then click and drag it over to where we want it to be. So we've laid down all the anchor points with the pen tool and then use the direct selection tool to be able to lock in a shape and create an organic shape instead of with polygons with the pen tool. So play around with the pen tool and try to post all of the work that you're doing with this sheet. Hopefully you can think about it as that roller coaster. We are starting in one place with a certain amount of energy happening in a certain direction and then going to the next place and either continuing that energy or ending it at that spot. Now, what we're going to do next is we are going to head over into Discord. And we are hanging out over in Discord with the feedback channel. So here's where I want you to go right here.